And we are officially live for the first time in about a year. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Deck, otherwise known as Mantits, and with me, as always, is Dog and Hoss. It's been quite a while since we've done one of these. I believe the last time we actually all streamed together on this channel was the Boys Season 2 review, I think.
Yeah.
So we might be a bit rusty, might be a bit out of shape, and I mean that in more ways than one. But this is a thing that I think we've all been kind of wanting to do a stream for a long time and do something like this again. It's just with my unreliableness, we haven't been able to. But
And
today
Hoss
was the
got
day.
COVID.
Yeah, and he got COVID because he's weak. But I made an executive decision today.
What?
All I'm saying is that you're weak.
I'm not weak.
Well, why'd you get COVID then?
Because... Carry on.
Yeah, so I made an executive decision that today would be the day that we actually... oh my God, have you seen?
We got a comment already. He's back. The number one fan's back.
Oh God, what's he put?
Boy.
When will the Arrow Honor Thy podcast come back? It won't. Let's move it on.
It's Deck's fault because he didn't want to commit to getting to season 8 and realizing his opinion was wrong.
No.
That was a long time. It was a long time, and I was optimistic during lockdown when I had nothing else to do. And then when I actually got a job again, I was like, yeah, I can't do that.
I mean, you're saying that, but me and Shotgun Dan did actually binge watch the entire show within... How long did it take, Dan? Like 4 months?
I think it was less than that. Through like my night shifts and stuff, I just watched shed loads of it.
Yeah, so nice one, Deck, but I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I mean, I just have too much other stuff going on in my life. Like, I'm just like, I've got so many other friends and, you know, got like 5 wives and stuff like that. So I ain't got time to be watching stuff like that. Do you know how difficult it was to squeeze in this episode of The Walking Dead today? Along with everything else I had to do. You two, you live the life. You two are living the dream. You don't know what it's like to be me. Right. Before we go on too big of a tangent, we haven't even said what this episode is all about. We are going to be talking about The Walking Dead, which we are now all caught up on. And the season 11 premiere did debut today on Disney Plus, and it debuted about 2 weeks ago. You're right there, Hoss.
Yeah. My camera's just playing up.
I just hope Hoss has like pants on.
How has this become the topic of conversation? That's what I want to know.
He's about to get you demonetized, Deck.
That's already happened.
And probably banned.
Yeah. So it debuted on Disney Plus today here in the UK. It debuted about 2 weeks ago on what's it called? AMC Plus in the US. This really stupid thing they're doing. For some reason, if you subscribe to AMC Plus, you do actually get to watch the episodes like 2 weeks in advance. So that's great for spoilers. But yeah, now we've actually seen the premiere. I guess we should just start off by talking about sort of where we're up to on The Walking Dead at the moment. I mean, season 10 and the bonus episodes that we got. I mean, I think season 10 overall was really, really strong. Wasn't quite as good as season 9 for me, but it was still a really strong sort of carry on from that. And then the bonus episodes were definitely a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
There were a couple of really good ones, and then there were a couple of real shit ones. I mean, funnily enough, this was actually a very appropriate thing to come out today. I didn't even know this was out today. I went into HMV and then it was sat there. The season 10 Blu-ray.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was out today.
It looks pretty cool as well. That's a really cool cover.
Yeah, so that was pretty appropriate to come out today.
Nice.
So,
does it have the bonus episodes with them, or is it just the standard 16?
It doesn't say, but I assume it does.
Well, how many episodes does it say it has? If it has 22,
it doesn't say.
No.
Just said that. Hang on. 16 hours and 40 minutes. If you want to work that out,
if
you want to do some quick maths.
I think based on that, it would have to be more than 16 episodes because Your Walking Dead's like average 40 minutes in it.
40 something, yeah.
I mean, they are a part of season 10, so I'm assuming they must be.
Yeah,
if it didn't.
Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me if AMC released season 10 and then just did the separate 6 episodes and then charged like half the price.
Yeah, do what Doctor Who's been doing, where they just release the specials for like 15 quid on one single disc. It's great.
Yeah.
And I buy them. So anyway, The Walking Dead, what were your guys' thoughts on season 10 and more specifically at the bonus episodes? Because we haven't really spoken about them at all.
Yeah, the bonus ones, like for me, the best episode was the Negan one. I was waiting for the Negan one for the whole thing. I'm glad it was the last one because it kind of like saved all of the bonus episodes. Whether if it was the first one, I would have watched that, and then the rest of them were a little bit like boring. Didn't really care for the Daryl and Carol one because it had that scene where Daryl fell into a trench, and you're thinking, oh my god, he might get bit, and then you're like, well, no, he's not, because they're doing a Daryl and Carol spin-off. So it was just like, it's pointless. Any scenes with them two just in peril now, you just can't, like, you can't get excited, or like not excited, but you just don't worry.
No. Yeah, it's like when we watch the season 10 finale, when there's that moment where it's a really great moment in the episode, and it seems like Carol is actually going to die. And I said this to you at the time. I said, given at the point we're at the show, it would actually be a pretty good time to kill a character like Carol. And if she had died then, I would have believed it. But because we knew that spin-off existed, I was like, well, she's fine.
Yeah, it completely ruined that scene for me. And that was a really good scene. And I
know Carol and Daryl are essentially the leads of the show now, but it's just one of the things, like, especially now, like, I mean, me and Dan were talking about this before you came in, and we'll talk about it when we actually get to the part in the episode, but, we're in season 11 now, so basically any character can die, and there was kind of there's a character who maybe dies at the end of this episode, but we know she doesn't. And again, given the fact that this is the final season, it would be totally viable to say, oh, that character could die, but we know she's not going to die, so it's just one of them things, really.
Yeah, I think it's probably a fact of like AMC trying to just like keep its viewership. So like they announced that spin-off in the hope that people would watch the final season because fans of Daryl and Carol then wouldn't like drop off. If if Daryl was to die at the end of last season or like midway this season, they might just stop watching it. So it was probably just a way of them trying to keep you interested in it. And it's a terrible strategy, to be honest, because it just then ruins like.
Yeah, it ruins the whole final season because when anything happens with those two characters, you're never going to care about it because in the back of your head that's been announced. It removes any tension with them. So I get why financially, but in terms of like the actual viewing experience, it just completely tarnishes it for me.
Yeah. Especially when like Daryl could be a character who would literally like I could see Daryl almost being a character that would be like the final one you kill.
Yeah,
like the big final death, because that would be like. He is like, I'd say he's probably the most iconic character on the show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
If you killed him, that would be like a huge thing to kind of end the show on. But we know that's definitely not going to happen.
Yeah, unless in the spin-off, maybe Carol takes Daryl's bike, rides off into the sunset, but in her bag has like the severed head of Daryl. So Daryl does die, but he's just this little talking mouth for like the rest of the spin-off.
I'd watch that.
Like,
it needs to be different.
And Carol just goes crazy and talks to him like freaking Macbeth or whatever it is, and just talks to this like head of Daryl.
At least it'd be different from the other spin-offs we've had. But what about you, Hoss?
Norman Reedus still gets paid like £1 million an episode just to be this talking head.
No, in terms of what I thought of season 10, and it's probably best I say this because I've slandered The Walking Dead, and at one point I was done with season 10. I basically caught up with it over lockdown because I didn't really have much of a choice. I actually quite enjoyed season 10 for the most part. I thought it was kind of equal-ish to season 9, but I think as I look at it more, I do admit that 9 was probably a bit better. And I think the thing that killed 10 for me was that I think the bonus episodes, for the most part, I don't think was worth it. I think if they trimmed it down to maybe 3 episodes or so, I think it would have worked better. But it was almost as if like the first 5 episodes were just so slow, and it almost felt clear that they just wanted to build up to the Negan episode. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it was the one that we were all excited for. It was the main reason I was watching the bonus episodes, was to get to that. I didn't mind the one with Aaron and Father Gabriel. I didn't mind that one.
Yeah, I like that one.
That one was all right. The rest of them were either forgettable to downright shit. Like the princess one.
Oh, that was the worst one.
My
God,
was
the worst one.
I did not enjoy that one in the slightest. But the Negan
I was kind of
one
excited about that one too because I really like the princess.
Cool. When she was like basically trapped and like lost her mind a bit.
I quite honestly don't remember anything about it.
No, yeah, that's the one where she beat the crap out of the
Commonwealth
guy.
It's the one where she's being like interrogated in it and she's trapped by the Commonwealth. But like, I literally don't remember anything happening.
No, it was so forgettable.
No, it was all right. I just didn't like the Daryl and Carol one. Just annoyed me because it was just complete filler and like you just couldn't worry about those characters, so it's just completely pointless.
I think the Daryl and Carol one and the Princess one,
just chasing. They were the two least favorites.
yeah. And then like Negan was amazing, like genuinely probably one of the best episodes of the show. And then the Gabriel and Aaron one I thought was pretty good, and the Daryl and Leah one was decent, but that one kind of more so feels like set up for this season.
Oh no, the dog episode was a good one. Yeah. I know that.
And then what was the first one was just like that was basically just a normal episode, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah.
When like Maggie came back, that was basically what that was.
Yeah.
So it was just it was a mixed bag. So I was kind of most of those episodes, even the ones I kind of liked, I came away each week just being like, ugh.
Yeah, when are we going to get to Negan? That was just the main thing at the back of my mind. To be fair, the Negan one was worth it. Like you say, it is probably like one of the best episodes of the whole show, but it's just a shame because it just kind of makes, looking back at it now, like the other 5 episodes, just kind of makes me think, maybe we could have condensed that into fewer episodes.
I don't know. We could have just stuck that in season 10. just stuck that into season 10.
Yeah, it's handy.
Like, it would have been just as well. Because like I say, even the episodes that were good, like even like the Gabriel and Aaron one, that was my second favorite. Like that one was still pretty superfluous, as a story. It didn't really add anything. It was just this little side adventure. We got like a cool cameo, and that was about it. It was a good episode. It had good tension, it had good writing, and performances were good. But it was just one of the things. It was just as an actual story within the season and within the show, it didn't really add anything. And then the Daryl and Leah one, like I say, that one more so feels like set up than anything else. It's just they were really mixed. But then the Negan one was amazing. So what do you
do? Yeah.
Should we now dive into the episode? Is there any like other Walking Dead thoughts you want to discuss before we actually dive into the episode? Like anything to do with the world or whatever?
You guys haven't caught up at all with like. I know, Hosh, you've watched Fear, haven't you? You're like fully caught up with Fear, aren't you? Yeah. Gek just still hasn't got past season 2 or episode 2 of season 1.
I stopped watching it. No, I
honestly no.
I got like 2 episodes into season 2.
After watching this season.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag where like some of the seasons can be a bit tough and some of the episodes and some of the writing can like really piss you off, but like this season was really good. And looking forward to like the future of the show, it's like crazy because it's like now just gone to like another level where I didn't even think like was sort of possible in terms of the story. So next have you seen the trailer for the next season, Hosh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm excited now. Like this is the most excited I've been for Fear in probably quite a while. Like I'd say maybe like off the back of season 3 was when I was last excited. But season 7 I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, man.
And then we can all forget about World Beyond because that was absolute dog shit, and we don't need to mention that.
I didn't even finish it.
I'm just grateful it's only 2 seasons because I'm not even going to watch season 2, but I'm just going to be curious. I'm just curious to see how bad it is.
See, that's the thing. Like, I want to catch up with it in a way because it is only 2 seasons.
But it's honestly, it's like I will not watch season 2. I will just see what the consensus is, just because like
I'm going to watch
that first season.
I'm going to watch it just because I've got like time to pass on like some of my shifts, so it's kind of easy I'll literally just stick it on in the background. Won't even care about what's going on, but just to have like watched it. But yeah, season 1 was it was a dross, absolute shit.
Yeah, I mean, I mainly, to be honest, I mainly want to watch it for the Rick stuff, just in case it's so stupid. Like it basically made this whole show around the Rick thing. I bet it's not even anything. It's just like, oh, he is over there, and then it's just like we go over there in like the Rick movies, and that's it. Like I don't know how much purpose it's really going to serve in the overall universe, and like I say, it's so bad that I can't even be like there's nothing even entertaining to grasp onto. I was actually thinking about Fear the other day though, because my big problem with Fear, and this also extends to World Beyond, is that it's basically I don't understand the point of it because it feels exactly the same as the main show to me. Like the characters go through the same arcs, they go through the same struggles again and again, and I'm like, it's all just the same thing. And why would I watch this show when I can watch the main show, which has characters that I care infinitely more about? Which isn't really to Fear's fault, but that's kind of my problem with it. But I thought when The Walking Dead ends, obviously this season, I actually might go back to Fear because then I won't have The Walking Dead. So I actually can still have a Walking Dead show without having The Walking Dead. So I might actually go back to Fear when the show ends, maybe.
All I'm saying is just Elisa, Deb, and Carey. That's like the one reason you need to watch it, mate. If you're gonna watch it,
To be fair, I really like Coleman Domingo. I think he's really great.
He's great, to be fair.
And I did like his character so far from what I saw of him. And also like I do want to see like the Morgan and Dwight stuff. I mean, I've heard they've done some pretty mixed things with those characters, but just as a fan of the original show, I would like to see what they do with those characters.
It's kind of like Fear's kind of like, for me, is a bit like with the Arrowverse in like Supergirl and like Legends, is that it's part of the world and it would be weird not to watch it. So like I do watch it, and for like most part of it, it is decent. So yeah.
Yeah, like I say, I think I'll circle back round eventually. But anyway, let's dive into the episode. So this is, like I say, the season 11 premiere, the final season. I have to say, like, actually now we're at the final season and like going into it, it is kind of crazy that it is actually ending. But I do like the fact that ending it at the comics, because at least then it all feels tightly wrapped up and we don't have to worry about extending it and coming up with original material, even though the show's done original material.
The first two shows, the first like 2 seasons weren't even like comic based, basically. Yeah, which is kind of surprising, like how it managed to just create 2 seasons out of basically nothing, and then like manage to get to that 3rd season and like carry on into the comics, which is
because the first 2 seasons, like the first issue of the comic is basically season 1, and then like the second issue of the comic is season 2, basically. Which is kind of crazy, but and even then, like isn't the farm like basically just like a tiny thing?
Pretty much. It's like barely in it.
But anyway, season 11, the final season. It's definitely going to be sad to kind of see it end, even though we've had, especially like I know me and you, Hoss, have had our ups and downs with the show over the years. I think we've both stopped watching it at different points. I know I stopped in season 8, and then I only came back in season 9 because of Rick leaving, and then because of how good season 9 was, it got me back on board. But yeah, it's definitely been a roller coaster ride of a show. But it's one that I do have a special place in my heart for. Like, I do love this show, and I will always consider it probably one of my favorites of all time, to be fair. Like, it's probably always going to be in like my top 10 favorite shows. So yeah, it is sad to get to the final season, but given what we know about this final season and what it's going to be and the storylines it's going to be doing, I am excited to see how it's all going to wrap up. Especially this is an extended season as well. This is a lot longer than what we typically get. So it gives them plenty of time to flesh out the characters and actually flesh out all the storylines properly, not kill off a bunch of random characters for no reason. Like, we can actually do it properly. So the episode, the opening scene, you kind of see all the characters going into this military base to kind of get some supplies and stuff. And I have to say, like, this opening scene was such a great way to go into the episode because it was really well filmed. It was really well done in the sound design department. I loved how basically there was no line of dialogue in this entire scene, basically. It just made it feel so much more intense and so much more scary to kind of have them go into this like bed of sleeping walkers. And they just have to not make a sound.
Can we, like, that's my first point in this episode. Have we ever seen sleeping walkers before? Like, when the hell did walkers sleep? So is that just a thing they've now just added?
Is it not in season 4 when Herschel gets his leg bit?
I'm trying to think now if that was asleep or not, or if it had just turned. I can't remember. It's that long ago. It's that long ago.
Because to be fair, I thought that as well. I thought, have we seen like something like this before? Like, does it exist in the comics?
That's what I was trying to think. Like, I didn't know if it was just a weird law, like, rule that they've kind of put in now, but I can't remember it.
Yeah, because it did feel kind of random.
Yeah, and I know like the zombies are sort of, some of them are like they don't move for ages. Like, the ones that are sort of stuck in the wall and stuff, and they won't move until something like activates them, basically, because they're like, just stuck. But yeah, sleeping zombies, I was a bit like, wait a minute, what? It was a bit strange.
Yeah. But it was a really cool scene, in my opinion. And what I also liked about it was like the kind of technicalities of it, like the way that it was basically all the women went in because they're lighter. Because like, they're not going to pull Jerry down, are they? It's just not going to happen. So I thought it made sense that they did that. And what I also liked about it is that it really showed like all these characters being super competent at what they do, like the way they can all just kind of maneuver around. And then even though it's just that one drop of blood from Daryl that basically activates all these walkers, the way they all kind of handled themselves to get out of the situation, like it was just one of them things where they're not all flailing around and trying to, and they're all like risking their lives. Like they actually they know what to do, they know how to get out of the situation, they do it pretty cleanly. And I just thought that was kind of cool to see. Like it was a cool way to go into the season. It was some good little bit of action to kick us off.
It's definitely like one of the highlights of the episode for me, just because it's just like such an interesting way to open up the season, just because I can't really remember like The Walking Dead ever kicking off like that. And just again, it was something different. The sleeping walker thing, even if we haven't seen it before, I still think it's cool because, like you say, it adds a lot of tension to the scene. And then, like you say, the way that they deal with it, it just made it really tense, but like really satisfying as well. And then I like as well how it builds up the story with them getting the food supply. And then later on, you find out it's because they're literally screwed for food. So it's kind of setting up plot elements as well in the introduction. So overall, I just thought it was like a really sick way to open up the episode.
Yeah, I love the opening shot as well. Like it looks really good. Like when you got Daryl on the rooftop and then Elijah comes in, like that was a really cool, like opening, like very cinematic looking opening shot. It was just a really strong opener. And then we have the intro sequence, which has been slightly changed. We have seen some new things in it. It's nothing too groundbreaking or nothing too notable to talk about, but there is some new things in there. Like I have seen someone point out the fact that the helicopters come back, which wasn't in season 10. So that's obviously a bit more hints towards Rick. And also Dog is now in the intro, as he deserves. So good for him. But then we kind of cut back to Alexandria, and this is where we get like the table meeting. And I have to say, I loved this scene as well, because you have all these major characters sat around discussing what they're going to do. Because as you said, Hoss, they are basically screwed for food. They are just struggling to get supplies in. And after Alexandria was destroyed last season, they have to like rebuild, but they can't do it if they're all like starving. So they need to go out and actually find a way to deal with this. And Maggie brings to the table this idea of, there's this old community, like where I'm from. There was this community that was taken over by this new group. But there they have food. They can feed all of us. But we need to get there. And what I liked about this was not only did it give us more history to Maggie, like what she's been getting up to in the last 6 years, but it also gave us hints at this new group who's going to be a villain group in the season, the Reapers. At least I'm assuming it's the Reapers. And then also what I really liked about it was you kind of had the community split down the middle, where you kind of had some people agree to go with Maggie and say, yeah, we're going to go off. And then you had like other characters like Rosita and Aaron were like, no, we need to focus on Alexandria. And I just thought it was interesting to see these characters kind of not argue, but kind of, debate this out. And then the group split down the middle to go out on this little adventure. I thought that was really well done. But yeah, I think that this whole announcement of like this new group as well, like Meridian, is that what it was called? Meridian?
That's
kind of where we're going in this episode. That's where we're sort of heading to. So, I mean, what do you think this community is going to be? Do you think it's going to be like Alexandria, or do you think it's going to be a bit more kind of darker? Because obviously now we know it's been taken over by this group.
At first I thought like she said it might have been taken over by the Commonwealth, or like that's who it was, but it seems like it's more of like, I guess, bandits or something, like more like sort of the cannibals that we had in like the earlier season, like maybe sort of one of those sort of groups. So I don't know, like from reading the comic, I've never heard of this like group, so I feel like it's just an original thing, so I'd be interested to see what it is.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've heard, the Reapers, because they have spoken about this group called the Reapers in this season, and yeah, they aren't from the comics, they are an original thing. It seems like they're going to be kind of the villains of the first half of the season, because there is this new big bad coming in called the Pope, who's like the leader of this group. So that's going to be kind of our first half, I think, threat before we really dive into the Commonwealth stuff. Because, like I say, this season is extended, so they can focus a little bit in these first handful of episodes on this Reaper group, and then kind of move away from that, and they can truly focus on the Commonwealth for the ending. So yeah, I think it is this Reaper group, and we're going to get introduced to this Pope character who they've kind of been teasing. But yeah, it was nice to see some stuff with Maggie and actually get some history on her, and we get to meet her like group fully as well. Obviously, we'd already met Elijah last season, but we actually got to see the entire group there as well. And they were quite a cool little group, to be fair. I quite enjoyed all the characters. There's a little we got of them. I thought it was pretty cool to see them kind of as a little unit. And it'll be interesting to see what role they've got in the season. I imagine it'll be relatively small, but it's nice to see them.
Yeah.
And then the episode kind of moves on, and we have this actual journey towards this Meridian place in the subway tunnels. And I absolutely loved this, mainly because I think taking place in like a metro subway is just such a cool idea, and I'm surprised The Walking Dead hasn't done it already. The Walking Dead has already done some really cool locations like a farm and a prison, but doing it inside of a subway tunnel I think is such a great idea, just because it's so dark and creepy, and this episode does it so well, especially because they obviously go into it to take cover from the storm, and the noises that kind of go around in it is just really crazy and really scary, and I think it does it really, really well. Again, I just love this location. I mean, I think we're pretty much only going to be in it in this episode and probably the next episode. But as a way to like open the season, it really left a good mark, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like a change of pace. And I think, like you say, just in terms of like all the different places that we've been to in The Walking Dead, like a subway's one of those places that you would think they've done before, but they haven't. So I like that they're exploring things like that in the final season. And like I said, I think it worked really well because naturally in and of itself, it's a creepy environment. You add the walkers into there and it just intensifies it. And like I said, I think when we get later on into the stuff that happens in there, I think it's just a really cool setting to have for this episode. Just freshens it up a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to get like any people down there, because to be fair, it's actually quite a good place to hang out. I think if you were like in Apocalypse, I think it's actually a pretty good location because it's pretty covert, it's underground, it's good shelter, and then you can literally just go out to get supplies when you need to. Because those walkers that were in there, I mean, there was a lot of them. So like they've obviously been hoarded in from somewhere. So it was clearly relatively, there's a fly on me. It was clearly relatively safe. I don't know how those walkers got in there. But yeah, I think it was a really cool location. And I loved, like, even did you see that fucking big ass walker that was in there that attacked Negan as well?
Yeah,
that weird from The Last of Us. It reminded me of the well walker we had in like season 1.
Oh yeah.
It looked very much like that. Yeah. So it was really cool.
Really, like, literally, like I said, it reminded me of like a bloater from The Last of Us. I was like, that's just like really big and horrible.
Yeah, like how do those sort of zombies like come about? Because a lot of the ones we see are literally like just really skinny sort of walkers. Like, is it just a deterioration or something? But so it's quite interesting to see the type of person you are if you don't get bit, like what you turn into. Like, would Jerry turn into one of those massive zombies?
That's what I can't tell. Like, was he just fat pre-apocalypse, or is he like a mutation? Because like I say, like in The Last of Us, to go back to that, like the bloaters are like a certain mutation of the virus.
Yeah,
and that's how they become like that. But The Walking Dead hasn't really addressed that. I don't know. I don't know if he was just a fat man or if he was just a fat zombie. I don't know. But a cool design though, and it was a cool little jump attack on Negan as well. And I quite like the fact that no one helps him. He just has to take on this thing by himself. And it's not like he's on his own either. He's like literally with the group. They'll just stand there, turn around, and watch him.
Yeah. I suppose it was good that they used a different character and didn't have like that thing attack Daryl, because again, it would have just been like, oh, Daryl's going to kill this thing. It's not going to bite him, is it? Like, so which that's going to get me every episode now. It's just seeing those two in peril. Like, I'm just not going to care. I'm not going to worry. So it's good to like. I don't want him to kill Negan because Negan's like up there with like probably my second favorite character after Daryl. So if they kill him, then I might just stop watching.
Yeah. But I think my favorite thing about the whole subway tunnel scene, like, was all the Maggie versus Negan stuff.
Yeah,
that was really intense.
Just because it was really intense. Like, the way I love the fact they both kind of get these scenes where, I mean, the entire time they're in there, Negan's like, "This is a bad idea. Like, let's just get out. Like, we don't even know what's on the other end of this. We could be going towards a dead end. We could get blocked in. Like, anything could happen." He also points out, like, on the wall, he can see like the water damage. So he's like, "It floods in here and it's raining. Like, the heavens have opened upstairs. Let's just get out." And everyone just not listening to him. And I thought that was really great, just seeing their dynamic as well, because, you know, those two just are at each other's necks, and seeing Negan just really push her buttons. And he gets a really good speech as well, like at the end, where he's talking about how he knows the plan. You know, he's been brought here by Maggie to be killed. And he's just like, "Let's just do it. Let's just get it over with. Just kill me now." And then Maggie equally gets such an incredible speech back to him, where she's like, "Yeah, I'm not the same person you saw 6 years ago, but that there is a little bit of her still inside of me, and it's that little bit that's keeping you breathing." And I thought that was a really great line.
Yeah.
It was just great, like, conflict.
Yeah, pulled the pistol out on him and was just like, "Yeah, if you want to push those buttons, then like be my guest, because I will do it." Which is like, yeah, it's really intense, that, and I can't wait for sort of more of that. But at the end, I want them to just hug it out.
I doubt that's going to happen.
I don't see it.
I think the end of this is my prediction. Negan and Maggie are going to get together, and they're going to.
I know where this is going.
He's going to become Glenn's
Junior's stepdad. Yep, and they're going to go off into the sunset together as one little happy family. It's going to be great.
That's what it is. It's all sexual tension. That's what it is, man.
Yep.
It's not hate. It's love. They just need to touch now, just a touch, and then they'll and then, I mean, the Walking Dead won't be able to show that, but yeah, I loved all the subway tunnel stuff. It was great, and especially like that Maggie versus Negan conflict. I think is something that's going to be really central to this season, with Maggie being back in such a prominent role, and Negan also now being, given the fact he's not like a villain anymore, he is quite a prominent lead role as well. I think that conflict is going to be really central and key to this season, and I think this is a really good way to kind of kick all that off. We've had little seeds of it, you know, since Maggie's been back, but this is like the first time we actually got to see like extended sequences with them together, and I loved all that.
Yeah, I really liked in the bonus episodes where it's like the end of the Negan episode where he's walking back and he just stares at Maggie. I thought that was so good, and like the music that was played against that was so good, and it just gets to the end where you're just like, give me season 11 now. Like, I needed that season. It was such a good, like, Maggie just gave him the death stare and it just cut to black. And yeah, that was so good.
I'm super impressed with how they've handled Negan, because like I was getting kind of tired of Negan in season 8. Like, I was like, his shtick's kind of getting a bit boring. And in season 9, what they did with him, and then equally in season 10, they just added like 10 times amount of depth to him and just made him so much more interesting. And he's genuinely maybe the best character on the show at this point, just because he's just so well developed now and just has so much to him, and you can't take your eyes off him. Like when he first came on the show, you couldn't take your eyes off him because he was just so electric on screen, and he just completely took your eyes. Like, but now he take breath away in a different way because he's just so interesting to watch, because you don't know what he's going to do. And how he's going to handle situations. And I just love that. And I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan, like, he's a fantastic actor, and he's always been doing great work. But with this, it's just truly some of the best stuff he's done. So yeah, I'm very interested to see how Negan's story ends, whether he dies or not. I don't know if he is going to die. I don't know. Like, I guess we can kind of do death predictions when we talk about these characters, but I don't know. Like, Negan's the one I'm really stuck with. In regards to whether he's going to die or not. I don't know. It could go either way, because he's got that redemption arc, but then he also, I think it would be fitting for him to die. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, do you know like the comic version of like Negan basically?
Remind me. Doesn't he go off somewhere?
Yeah. So like, he does basically survive, and there's like an extra comic that came along saying Negan lives. So they could do that, and I know that there's that little sort of spin-off that might appear. I don't know if it's still in the works, where they're going to do like Tales from the Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
Where they're going to do like sort of one-off things. So they could do like another Negan episode where basically I guess at the end of the season, Negan just be a complete cliffhanger where you don't know. Maybe Maggie just says like, right, yeah, you can leave, or he leaves them after having saved them and just says, well, that's it, I'm going to do my own thing. And then in a spin-off, they could like show him alive and stuff. Or yeah, he could die. Obviously, I don't want him to.
Yeah, I was saying before about like Daryl being like that big final death that obviously isn't going to happen. They could do that with Negan.
Yeah, if he is going to die, hopefully it's in like sort of a heroic way.
Yeah. But then we actually do cut to the Commonwealth, so we actually arrive at the Commonwealth again. We've had little teases of it throughout. Obviously, we've seen the soldiers and stuff like that, who still look amazing. Those costumes just translate so well to live action.
Yeah, they're really good live action costumes. They're awesome. Yeah.
But we basically have this really awesome scene where the 4 characters of Yumiko, Princess, Eugene, and Ezekiel. I couldn't remember his name.
Are you sure you've watched the episode, Declan? Are you sure you've watched it?
I can literally picture in my head, and I was like, have I said Ezekiel? I literally couldn't remember. But they're all being interrogated by these 2 incredibly stern kind of, I don't know what you call them, I guess.
They were called auditors. They said they were auditors from the Commonwealth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the episode, Deck?
Look, I heard man tits and you guys didn't, so who's really winning?
Yeah.
I mean, I say it's both of them. It's mainly just her. He doesn't say a word. But I thought this was really interesting because they're asking like really personal questions and like really random questions. And I always enjoy when we get little hints to like what the characters were doing before the apocalypse. So like we actually get to hear like what each of them, what their jobs were. Like we knew a couple of them. Like, we knew like Ezekiel was a zookeeper and stuff like that. But like we find out like Yumiko was a lawyer. Did we know that? We might have known that.
That's literally just come to me now that you said lawyer, and the whole fact at the end of the episode is, if you know the comics, what they're doing is that they've basically now given her Michonne's
story,
storyline, and that's literally just hit me. I didn't realize that point, so obviously I did watch the episode.
We all didn't really watch it. We're winging it.
Shit, that's really interesting now.
Yeah, and like Princess just worked in a store. And Eugene obviously was like kind of like a scientist, kind of
fraud.
Kind of a weird one. But these seemed really good, and we also got like our first introduction to Mercer as well, who doesn't get that much to do in the episode, but he does have a presence, I will say. Him in his big orange suit, and then just like him just stood there on the side, just staring them down, and like barely saying a word. I do like this character. I mean, this is like the new character I've been most excited to see was Mercer.
Yeah.
And he seems really cool, and I can't wait to see what kind of journey he goes on, because I have a feeling his character is going to be quite the interesting one, I think.
Yeah.
And again, his suit looks awesome. I love his suit. They also do mention like this reprocessing thing. Is this in the comics? I don't know. But they keep mentioning like this reprocessing thing. Where if you need to pass certain tests in order to get through to the Commonwealth, and if you don't, you get reprocessed. Is this like some kind of like torture? I don't know what this is.
I think that's just been written into it. From what I remember from the comics, the Commonwealth is quite like a genuine place where it's just like, it's quite just a happy place, which has just been really built up as this big community, and there's nothing too sinister about it.
Yeah, but this one seems a lot more sinister, like compared to what they do. I don't know whether it's intentional misdirect or whether it's actually how they're going to do him, but in terms of like the whole reprocessing thing, not really a thing in the comics. Like I say, a lot more of a welcoming place.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting what that is, because I feel like they are doing like an intentional misdirect. I think that the reprocessing thing might be something else entirely, because I think that obviously with this season having the Reapers in it, that's going to be more of like our physical kind of threat. Whereas the Commonwealth, I think, is more going to be a place that's going to be pretty peaceful and pretty tranquil for the most part, but we're going to have like people within it who are kind of threats.
I think the reprocessing thing, because we get that guy who they asked him how long he's been there, and he says 9 months, but then he says 4 with the reprocessing. I feel like it might be sort of maybe like a brainwashy thing where the leader maybe can like rewire their brain type thing to like make them all tranquil in this city. So like when they get through, everyone's going to be all like happy as Larry and seem a bit off. And then
I wonder if it's like a thing where they like mess with your brain so you only think a certain way, because like obviously we know
to like control them to just
because they want the Commonwealth to stay as like this perfect place to live.
Yeah.
And if you don't know anything outside of it, I guess it kind of makes it so that you're just living a normal life. And also like because they do ask each of them, obviously, like I said, what they did before, because the way the Commonwealth works is they take up the job that they did pre-apocalypse, right? And that kind of depends on like kind of what your job status was, depends on what kind of life you have within the Commonwealth. So like Yumiko being a lawyer would get quite a good life, whereas Princess would probably have like a pretty like standard kind of life. So again, I think that they're kind of using that to make you think, oh, okay, she was a lawyer, so we can repurpose her just to make her think that she's been a lawyer her whole life. There you go. And then she can live that. I think that's kind of what it is. I think it is kind of like, not like, basically brainwashing to make you feel like so you can fit into the Commonwealth and keep it a safe and kind of secure place.
Yeah, which will be quite an interesting take if it is something like that, because obviously we've never sort of seen that in the show. Or it's not in the comics, so it'd be an interesting route. I've always liked where the show has deviated from the comics, so it's not like a 100% just paper to screen type thing. Whereas sometimes that is usually quite good, because if you like the comic, you want to see that like how you read it. But that'd be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they change it so like because obviously in the comics it ends at the Commonwealth. Maybe there would be a thing where the Commonwealth maybe gets destroyed by the end of the season, and then we go back to Alexandria because they kind of want to rebuild that. At least that's kind of what they talk about at the beginning here, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, the Commonwealth is a big arc to give us in this final season, so we'll have to see what they kind of do with it and how they handle it. But definitely intrigued so far.
Yeah.
And then, go on.
Just the only thing that is going to annoy me with like the Commonwealth is that we're just not getting it done with like Carl and Rick basically and Michonne. We're not getting those sort of characters, so I'm wondering who will maybe fill into sort of the Carl and Rick role in terms of this arc. Obviously, Yumiko is now Michonne in terms of the comic, but I wonder who sort of takes up the Rick like mantle for this bit.
Eugene.
I was thinking maybe Aaron. I don't know if it's just because he looks like him, but Aaron, like, I don't know. Because
Daryl could be.
See, I would say Daryl, but he's so different to Rick. But then again, ever since Rick has been gone, Daryl has kind of stepped up. So it's kind of difficult to see, really. We'll have to wait and see. Just see how it goes. I would like to see Aaron kind of come into, because Aaron's one of my favorite characters. I would love to see Aaron like come into a more prominent position, because I always feel like he's a character who's really underserved. Because I think Ross Marquand's great, and I would really love to see him get more to do. So if they kind of put him into this more leadership position in this final season, I think it would be great. They've finally given him a Funko Pop, so we've got to actually like, I need to get my hands on that. I'm so happy for him, and that pop looks amazing as well. And we already kind of mentioned it. I did have a note here, but for the Wall of the Lost, which they say that's just Yumiko taking on Michonne's storyline. Is it a brother or a sister that?
I think it was her sister or something like that, possibly. Yeah.
So, would you be able to explain to me the Wall of the Lost a little bit and like what it actually means in the comics? Because I'm still a little bit hazy on all the details of it.
Yeah, it's just basically like people have got into that Commonwealth and then are hoping that other people will see it and look like Yumiko will look at it and then see that her sister's there and then basically search for her in the Commonwealth.
Right.
Yeah, so like in the comics.
So like her sister is in the Commonwealth.
Yeah. Right. She should be if they're going through that route, because in the comic it was Michonne's daughter. One of her daughters is alive. So basically there's a picture of her and then she goes to this cake shop and her daughter's there. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. So we'll see how they adapt again, that kind of storyline for Yumiko. And then the sort of final bit of the episode, we have the walkers within the subway tunnels basically go after all the characters, and they're trying to get into this train car. They can't break it open, so they eventually decide to climb on top of it, and they all get up there, and then Maggie is the last one to go up, and Negan basically leaves her there to die. Now, I said at the beginning that this is kind of ruined a bit because we know that Maggie does survive the situation. But it's a really good moment because I like the fact, like I said to you, Dan, before we started recording, like the shot of Negan like sort of looking over the train, and then the way he like backs out of frame, like still as a statue is really good.
It's so sinister.
Yeah, it literally looks like a horror character.
It kind of reminds
he's dead faced and just moves out of the frame. Really good.
It kind of reminded me of The Lion King when like Scar kills off Mustafa.
That's what I was
his name was.
Mustafa.
Yeah.
Mustafa.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of that. Yeah.
But it's quite interesting, and again, it is unfortunate this is all ruined by trailers and marketing and stuff, because as I said, this is the final season, and they could kill Maggie here.
That would be such a shock for her to die in the first episode.
It's all right, guys. It's Dumpstergate Part 2 is going to come back.
This is we
were talking about this. Is that Deck was saying that she's going to be underneath the train car in the next episode?
She's gonna Glen it. She's gonna get inspiration from her boy, and he's gonna slip under that train car. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Or I actually quite like Dan's theory as well. Do you want to go say that? You had actually a pretty good idea as well. When Negan goes, he doesn't even remember. When Negan goes away.
Oh yeah, so he's basically like he slides off and he's going to get like a weapon or something to basically like save her. I think that's probably what's going to happen. I think when her hand at the end slipped, I think it's basically like she's not going to fall. It's just like she's just lost her grip for a second or something. And I feel like Negan is going to come back and he's going to save her, but then Maggie's going to be like, you nearly left me for dead then, and it's just going to cause even more like tension between them. But maybe we'll also have that of like maybe Maggie starting to trust Negan a little bit type thing. Yeah,
I think it would be appropriate if she does have like a Glenn moment where she nearly dies and gets to slide.
I think it'd be kind of like a cool callback.
Or what would be really great if there is actually like just a dumpster down there that you can climb up. Like, that would be really good. Just like a wink to camera moment, I would really appreciate. It'd be completely tonally out, but I think it'd be really funny.
But just to go back to my like Lion King thing, I think like a parrot is going to come along and like lift Maggie up basically, and then fly her off out of the cave.
But also dog runs off as well, which Daryl's
like, no, I'm not leaving my dog.
I respect it. I respect that, man.
Exactly.
I mean, I quite like the fact that Maggie's like, no, you can't go, and then eventually he's like, no, I'm going, and then she's like, yeah, you'll probably be all right. I mean, Daryl, you'll be fine. You're not going to die. You got a spin off, so you're going to be fine. But
what about the dog though? The dog though.
If they kill dog, I swear to God.
If they kill dog, I'm actually done. Like I'm physically done. Like, they can't kill dog. And I think there was a thing though in the trailer, if I remember correctly, there was a scene where you hear like a dog yelp, and then you hear Daryl like scream no. And if it's a dog like death scene, I'm done with the show. Like I've had enough with the writers from Fear, like killing off like people in like shitty manners.
It's honestly never acceptable to send death threats to writers, but
I'll be there. I don't care. Like, come at me.
If they kill dogs,
Scott Gimple, I'm looking at you, mate. I'm coming after you.
Listen,
checks to see if you wrote the episode.
I really have. You've done great work. Don't ruin it now. I mean, this
you
is
and Mark
like
Guggenheim will be in my shit list.
Do you remember when Call of Duty Ghosts came out and we were all like, "Oh, the dog's gonna die," and it was like the same thing. It's like the exact. Isn't it a German Shepherd as well? Is that the same dog breed?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh. So I will be sad if they kill dog. That would honestly be sadder than them like killing Negan, like straight up. That would be like the most emotional death of the series.
Yeah,
it's like the only thing that Daryl loves, apart from like Connie.
Exactly.
See, I thought about this as well. You know, because he goes. It looks like he goes under the rubble, doesn't he, to like follow Dog? And we know that. I mean, this isn't like the same thing, but like I kind of had this moment where I thought, is this where he's going to meet Connie again? Because she was kind of like.
No, she escaped.
Yeah, but she does get out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had this thing because I also remember like I'm pretty sure there's a shot in the trailer where you have like Connie's face and it's all like smeared with like.
I think that might have just been used from last season, though.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm really excited to see Connie back, though. I love that character, and I love her relationship with Daryl. I just want them two to end up together really happy. I want Daryl to have like a nice relationship to end the show on. And also good for her for being in Eternals. Good for her.
Yep.
So yeah, that's basically the episode.
What do you think?
I think overall this episode was a really strong start to the season.
Yeah.
Definitely got me back into it really well. Set up some really good stuff, gave us some really new and interesting stuff to kind of chew on and to think about for the final season. So yeah, a really good start in my opinion.
Yeah, same. I think just in terms of like just carrying on that momentum from the Here's Negan episode, I think it's did a really good job of like, especially with the Maggie and the Negan stuff, just carrying that on. I really like the stuff they've done with the Commonwealth, like they adding the intrigue and the mystery to that, and then obviously the whole revelation with what they're doing with the whole wall of the Lost and stuff like that. That's really cool and interesting. Seeing how if they play that out the same way they did in the comics, and then like I said, with the whole subway stuff, that cool stuff was interesting. I'm excited to see how they're going to carry on with it in episode 2. Like what kind of a conclusion they're going to do to how Maggie gets rescued. You know, is it Negan saves her? Does she save herself? That kind of thing. But yeah, I'm really excited by it. Really enjoyed this premiere. I actually found it funny because just before coming on to here, I saw an IGN review of it. They gave it like a 5 out of 10. And I was just absolutely baffled out of my mind. Like, from experience, I've seen far worse Walking Dead season premieres than this. Like, as far as it goes, this is a really good one. And like I say, it just gets me really excited for the final season and, you know, what's in stock.
Yeah, I'm just hoping with it being obviously an extended season, we're getting like, 22 episodes, is it?
Yeah, I think it's 22.
Yeah, just hopefully it's not full of like filler, because The Walking Dead has been known for filler in like their 16 episode seasons.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're not going to get too much of that, because there are some episodes of The Walking Dead that as soon as the credits flash up at the end, you're like, wait, what? That was the end of the episode. Are you kidding me? And now you're like, I've got to wait next week to see like what the next episode's going to be like. So hopefully, we're going to get some like good development going into the final season, and they can all give like each character like a good sending off. Yeah.
The way I'd hoped it is that because of it being 22 episodes, you can base, or 22 or 24, however it is. I would like it if they just like split the season into like separate arcs. So like this arc is kind of like the Reaper stuff. Then the second arc is kind of like more focused on the Commonwealth maybe. And then the last bit is just kind of wrapping up all the characters and all that kind of stuff. That's how I hope they do it. Because I think with this way, with the extended episode count, I think you lessen the chance of having filler episodes or like having slower episodes, but having them be a lot more meaningful, like to the overall story. That's how I hope they'll do it. I'm not sure if they will, but given that this season's going to, I think they said, isn't it going to like air over the span of like 2 years? From what I've heard, so
I think so, because Fear's coming back in October, which doesn't give The Walking Dead now time to finish before Fear. So I think it's probably going to be like 12 episodes, 11 episodes or something, and then we'll come back.
Yeah, that's what. Like I say, I've heard conflicting reports about it, but I hope that's how they do it, because I think if they do it that way, it'll pace it out a lot better. Just given the fact that obviously we're so used to 16 episode seasons, which are already quite long. Going over to like 22 or 24, however many episodes it is. If they stretch out like that in the arcs of 3, I think that would be a really good way for them to do it. But again, we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely an interesting way of them sort of doing it, especially because they are spreading out this final season quite far. I just hope, like you say, Horst, that they just split it into separate arcs so they can just kind of do it in chunks rather than just stretch it out into one big story. Because we've seen on other shows how that pairs out, and it doesn't end well. But yeah, I'm excited for this final season. I'm sad, but I'm excited. Is there anything else you guys want to add before we wrap up here?
Just realised I didn't bring back a Shotgun Dan game. I didn't think of one.
It's all right. That was like Arrowverse exclusive. It's okay. It's okay.
We can bring it. We can bring it back. We can bring it back. Yeah.
I was wondering, I could do a little game for you if you wanted, if you guys have time.
Right, what is it then?
Because I kind of mentioned it before, but
we could do predictions.
Death predictions, yeah. Because I've got a list of characters here.
Yeah, go on.
We can quickly run through these. I'm not going to mention all these because some of these are like more characters we haven't even seen yet. So like I think it's kind of difficult to make predictions of. So Connie. I'm gonna say lives, just because I feel like they've kind of done this whole thing with her. It'd be really silly if they just killed her off.
Yeah. I'd say the same thing.
But given the relationship she has with Daryl and the spin-off, if the spin-off is going to be Daryl and Carol basically going on the bike and then disappearing, I feel like possibly killing her off might motivate Daryl to then leave, type thing.
I think
I'm going to say that.
I think that's going to happen, but I think it's going to happen with a different character.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys sort of know a theory that's going around. It's slightly spoilery if it turns out to be true. I don't know. Do you guys want me to say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
So apparently, one of the Reapers is going to be Leah.
I'm trying to remember who Leah is.
the girl who Daryl was with in the bonus episode.
Oh, right. Yeah, shit. Yeah, I get what you mean now.
Apparently, there's a theory that she's going to be in this season, and she is going to be one of the Reapers, and that's where she's kind of been. So I could actually see them killing her off, and that's what causes Daryl to go. Because if she's part of this villainous group, it would kind of make sense for her to die.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think she could be killed off. Either Daryl kills her or something else, and then he would leave. That's how I kind of see it. Not with Connie, just because like it would make sense to be Connie if this Leah thing didn't exist. But because of this whole storyline they've done with Connie, with her being missing for like all of season 10. I mean, I know that was them writing around the fact that Lauren Ridloff was gone.
Yeah.
But still, it would feel silly, I think, from a writing perspective, just to have this whole mystery about whether she was alive or not, then bring her back and then just kill her off immediately. I think it'd be a bit stupid.
Yeah. Possibly.
Lydia, I'm going to say lives.
Yeah.
I just don't really see much point in killing Lydia.
Let me just Google. Oh, no, Lydia's Carol's the girl in it. She's she's the girl that was with Carol. Yeah.
Have you even watched the show?
Mate, I can't remember it now because I was going to watch some of the episodes last night on my shift, and I should have done because I've forgotten. Yeah, but Lydia, she's going to talk to the flowers. Yeah, Carol's going to
well, she is her new surrogate daughter, so yeah, she it's just part for the course, really.
Yeah, I think she'll live. Yeah, she's like sort of being redeemed from like the whole whisperers that she live.
I would say live as well.
Yeah, I like Lydia, and I don't really see much point in killing her. Really, I don't know what she'd really what that would really serve if they killed her. Magna, I think she could die.
Yeah.
I could see them killing off because they haven't really killed off any of the characters from like the New Beginnings group. And I think Magna, especially because they're going to have this whole, it seems like Yumiko is going to be quite central this season. Like that could be a big thing for Yumiko if they kill off Magna. That'd be a sad character to die, I think, because she is kind of cool. Even though she has had her annoying moments on the show as well. But yeah, I'd say Magna dead.
Yeah, I could see definitely them killing off. Like I said, I think out of the New Beginnings group, they are going to have to get rid of some of those people. I think they're definitely due. Yeah, true.
Yeah,
but yeah. I like kind of like the bigger deaths from there. I think definitely Magna could be high on the list. Like I say, I'm completely unprepared because I haven't really made a list or anything. But out of all them, I would probably say she's one of the more likely ones.
Yumiko, I'd say lives.
Yeah, I think she's
mainly because I think she's going to be quite fairly protected by the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah. I think if it's going like comic book way, then I feel like she is going to be. She's going to find her place in the Commonwealth, and she's going to be one of those people that will sort of possibly agree with how it's run in terms of that. Because being a lawyer, she's going to be quite integral to some of their systems, I think. And then if they do bring back her sister, or if it is a brother, I think Yumiko will live.
Yeah, I think she'll live. Alden, he could die. I think he's quite an easy character to kill.
Yes, I can see him googling the name.
Mate, I'm honestly. Wait, what did you say? Did you say Alden?
Alden, the Savior guy, the ex-Savior, who's now like with Maggie.
Yeah. Mate, honestly, there's so many names in The Walking Dead that I do just have to like. I just remember them by like sort of their actors sometimes.
Right, here's one you might have to Google as well. Ezekiel, right?
Well, that's like the most obvious death prediction ever. The man's got cancer. Come on.
No, I think that makes it unobvious. I think he's going to live.
No, he's going to be dead by the end of it. I'm sorry, mate. He's dead. He's a goner.
Yeah, but if he's going to the Commonwealth where they've got like all this stuff,
no.
I don't think you play up the cancer thing for this long. Not to, because I think that's a 1 season thing. I think if they were going to kill him, you just because what season did he get cancer in? Like season 9.
Like
season around a while.
I think it was 10 if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think it was like 10.
It might be. It feels like it's been around for ages. But I feel like if you were going to do it, you might as well have just started it at the beginning of the season and then killed him off. But the fact that he's still around, I mean, he's outlived his comic death already, so it's hard to predict that. But
yeah,
I think he's going to live. I don't think he's dead. I think he's going to get cured. That would be a sad death, though, if they did kill him. Especially if they did kill him with cancer. Like, what a way to go in like an apocalypse.
Yeah. I'm just hoping they don't kill off Jerry. Yeah.
That was actually the next one, Jerry.
Oh, right.
No, please. I don't want to entertain the thought, not even thinking about
exactly.
it. Yeah, I think he's more likely than Ezekiel.
Oh. Because I thought as well, I thought he possibly was going to die last season, you know, when they were in that cave and they were basically like, yeah, Jerry, mate, you're too fat, you can't get through the hole. And he got saved by like his boot. Yeah. And he's too much of like a hero, the way that he basically like saved everyone apart from like Connie. He's too much of a hero that I feel like he's got to live. But
yeah, and
they've already sort of done that of where he possibly could have died. That I don't know if they're just going to replay it again of him doing like a heroic death. So
yeah,
I think he'll live. Yeah,
because I love his little family. I'd love to see them survive. Father Gabriel. Dead.
Oh,
I think he's on a ticking time bomb. This guy
is he the blind priest? Yeah.
Bloody hell!
No, I'm just messing with you.
Get out of here, Dan. Get out of here.
No, he's the guy, you know, with the baseball bat with the wire wrapped around it.
That's him.
That's Gabriel.
That's him. Yeah.
Gabriel, in my opinion, is dead. I think he's a big character now, and I think they could kill him. I mean, I thought he was going to die last season. To be fair,
he was meant to die last season. If you're going comic book wise,
yeah, I thought he was dead last season just because I thought that was a comic death that they were actually going to do. I don't know why. I just felt.
I don't know why they didn't do it. It's really weird.
That's what I mean. I felt like it was time for him to go.
Yeah.
But I think Gabriel could die. I think he's a very strong candidate to die.
Yeah. Because that was the only thing that really like sort of I guess annoyed me about that finale is like there wasn't any big deaths, was there?
No, I think we spoke about that when we recorded it.
Yeah, there wasn't sort of any like big deaths. So
yeah, I remember we saying like we got a really cool one like with Beta and like the final fight with Beta, but
yeah, and that was it.
Like, in terms of like
they
actual
killed off
like
the
shocking,
villain, and like you kind of thought they would kill the villain.
Yeah. I think the more expected if they actually did kill somebody off. I mean, I don't know whether maybe they're waiting for Father Gabriel. Maybe they thought we'll just wait it out until maybe midway through season 11. But yeah, I definitely think he's on borrowed time. I just don't know when exactly he could die. I would probably take a slot at maybe halfway through the season, kind of maybe as like a bit of a big cliffhanger for one of the breaks that we might get. I think that's probably the most likely way that they'll do it.
Yeah. Aaron, I think, will live.
Yeah.
I really hope he lives. Yeah. I think there's a chance he could die. Like, he seems like he does kind of have Gabriel potential, in my opinion, like a character who could die. But I think, in terms of like his character status, but I think Gabriel is far more likely. And I really want Aaron to survive.
Yeah. I think it's just a lot of favoritism.
Yeah. Rosita.
He's like been through so much shit now, like obviously losing his hand and stuff like that. Like he's one of those characters that's like possibly like deserving.
Oh, I did actually see a theory talking about the intro. There is actually a theory. I don't know if you noticed it. I didn't notice it. Someone pointed it out on Twitter, but there's like one of the frames is Aaron's arm on the floor, and people were like, "Is this a tease towards his death?" I mean, I don't know if they put that in the intro, but
oh shit! I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's like his metal arm is on the floor,
Maybe he just dropped it. He just forgot it.
Just left it at home.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like you leave your keys at home. He just left his hand at home. That was it.
Rosita, alive.
Yeah, I feel like you say, I think probably they'll keep her alive just to subvert her expectation from how she goes in the comics. I think that's probably what's going to happen.
Well, she was meant to go on the Pikes, wasn't she?
Yeah,
she dies on the Pikes, didn't she?
Yeah.
And also,
Ezekiel was meant to go on the Pikes.
Yeah.
She just had a baby. I don't think they'd do that.
No.
Yeah.
Eugene, I think will live.
I
don't see why they kill him off.
I would kind of like to kill that fraud.
Still salty.
Yeah, he's just like I don't know. He's so well played. It's nothing like because everyone like just says, "Oh, Eugene's just dumb," and then they come after the like actor. Where it's not the actor's fault, but like I don't know. There's just something about Eugene. I just probably wouldn't really care. Like,
I just think with Eugene, they've set up a lot of stuff with the Stephanie character. Like I feel like they've got to kind of do that.
Yeah, he might get like a happy ending or something.
Yeah. I mean, I do kind of agree, like, in a way, he does kind of deserve a comeuppance, but I feel like also, in a way, he kind of got that in, like, season 7 with the Saviors and stuff, so, yeah. Judith will definitely live.
Yeah.
Unless they want to pull a Carl.
I'm not ready for Carl 2.0. Carl 1.0 pissed me off already.
Yeah, speaking of Carl, the doctor he saved, what's his name again?
Sadiq.
Yeah, him. He needs to die just because that still irks me that they basically killed off Carl for this doctor, and it just. Really
you do know he is dead, right?
Wait, did he die?
Sadiq died.
He died like 2 seasons ago, didn't he?
Have you watched this show? What have you been doing, bro? That was like one of the big deaths, like before the mid-season finale of season 10. Dear Lord. That's why I was so angry with season 10 that they killed off Sadiq, because it's like Carl gave his life for his brethren and he barely lived 2 seasons.
How do you quit this thing?
Don't worry, I'll do it for you. I can do it.
Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. I really should have done some sort of recap.
I'm genuinely shocked.
Well, hooray! Yeah, one of my death predictions.
It was
You're a season too late, but yeah, you got it right. Well done.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad. But yeah, sticking with Judith, I'm just going to say all the kids are going to live. I don't know why they kill any of them.
Yeah.
It's not like any of us would care. Negan, I mean, we already spoke. I think
care if they killed off Glenn Jr.
Would you though?
Yeah, I would care. Him in his little hat. He's cute. Yeah.
I mean, fair point.
Yeah.
And then Negan, like I said, Negan's the one I would not be able to put a finger on. I think he's literally on a needle and just a flip either way. I don't know.
I feel like now it's a bit too early for me to judge. I think maybe after a couple of episodes, we kind of get an idea of where his story arc's going. I think we'll probably get a better idea as to if it's going to end with him dying or not. I just feel for now it's a bit too early because, like you say, there's so many directions they can take it. It just depends on which way they're going to go about it. If it was down to me personally, I love Negan that much that I'd want him to stay alive. But I would think in a way it would probably make more sense, I think, given the kind of arc they're going on now, if he did die a hero's death. But again, I can't really commit to one or the other because it could literally go sideways.
Just give me
I just wonder what that hero death would be. Like, what would he die kind of doing?
Yeah.
Because I do love him and Daryl
fighting
back to back in season 10, like fighting Beta.
Yeah.
I would love to see him. I would love to see him go out doing something like that. That'd be pretty cool. Like saving Maggie or saving Glenn.
It'd be like saving Maggie and Glenn Jr. It'd be something like that. Like,
is his name Glenn Jr.?
That's Herschel. It's Herschel.
Oh, it's Herschel.
Yeah. Do you even watch the show? Jesus God.
And then Daryl and Carol both die, obviously.
Clearly they both die, and the spin-off show is actually a prequel that takes place like in between the time jumps.
Both robots. They're both brought back to life. They have robot legs. And then the final one on here is Maggie. I'd say she.
I feel like I honestly think she could die. Being perfectly honest, I think it could happen.
I could see it. The only thing that makes me think no is, I mean, she's a big character, but the only thing that makes me think no is that obviously she was gone, and then they went through like a lot of effort to like bring her back.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is the final season. So
it is the final season. That's why I feel like she'll probably die towards the end because obviously she's a big character to kill off. I feel like she will probably be like, I'd say maybe like towards the end of the season. But I definitely could see them killing her off. I think because one, it'd be quite unexpected. But two, I think like especially if they keep up this kind of antagonism between her and Negan, I think maybe that could kind of like escalate to a level where maybe she does end up being killed off by some circumstance. I don't know. I just feel like I could see it happening. That would be like my bold prediction in terms of like the deaths. I would probably say Maggie to die. Not that I don't want it to happen, but it's just I feel like that is due a massive death, and I think
I guess to be fair,
if
they can't kill Daryl, they can't kill Carol, and they maybe might not kill Negan.
I guess she would be the
Maggie
big last one, yeah.
Yeah, she'd be the next logical kind of choice. Because I mean, what you've got to remember is as well, like obviously in the comics we do have that big final death with Rick. Like, who's going to get that death?
Yeah,
Because I have a feeling they're not going to change that. I feel like we are going to see that death happen, and I could see it being something where Maggie is killed, and then like Daryl kills that person, or maybe Negan does. That would be pretty cool, actually. If Negan did it, that'd be pretty cool.
That's what's annoying me so much about this final season is just not having Rick, because these movies are now becoming like the avatar of like
it's like
Walking Dead films. Like they're just taking forever, and I'm pretty sure they actually started filming.
I don't think they have, no, because like literally they've been in like pre-production whenever for like, because when did Rick exit like in season 9? Was it like 2018? So literally they've been sat on these films now for 3 years, and it's literally like no progress. That's me. That's my anger towards these films, guys. That's my anger towards them. My camera was just like, nah, screw this.
I took
my rage out on the camera. I took my rage out on it.
Your camera had enough.
You just need like
my camera's tired of waiting. My camera's tired of waiting. That's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, no, I agree.
Just,
I feel like for what it was worth, it kind of just makes me think, what was the point of getting rid of Rick? Because it's just like you could have just had him back for these episodes. It would have been so much better. Like,
I so hope he's back.
Yeah.
I
hope he is. If he isn't, I would be really disappointed because all roads are leading towards it. If he doesn't come back, I would be really annoyed. Like, I'm not even asking for a big role. Just
he's got it for like the final season. Like, it's basically The Walking Dead is Rick's story, and it's got it can't not end without Rick. And I feel like they're banking so hard on these films, where obviously they're going to be able to put so much more money into the films, but then they're banking on them being like a massive success, where it could just be that once season 11's finished, people's sort of viewership of like, unless like hardcore fans like just won't care about these films if they just keep dragging them out for like not being released yet.
Yeah.
And
I don't care about these films.
Yeah, I don't care. And the fact that they've already said the trilogy.
That's what gets me, is like the fact they've said they're doing 3. I'm like, slow down.
Yeah, exactly.
Why are we planning I'd much rather we've got back for this final season.
Like, at least with Avatar, we've got the one film. We haven't even got that with these ones. Exactly. So that's what I struggle to understand.
So we could get like the first film in like 2022, like the late then, and then you've still got to wait. Like, I think they're filming them back to back, but still you're going to have a year's wait between each film. So it's just so like.
Because I was kind of under the impression that what was going to happen, and this was before we knew that season 11 was the final season, but I was kind of the impression that the show was going to go on for quite a while past that, and then the movies were going to run concurrently, and then it'd all kind of tie back up together.
Yeah, exactly. And Rick would come from like the movies to the TV show again, possibly.
But they're not really going to be able to do that, because like I can't see Michonne coming back, really. And I mean, I really would love Andrew to come back, just because it just would fit. Like if they could get Andrew and Denai to come back for like the last kind of couple of episodes would be great. I would just so much rather, like, I don't care about this Rick movie trilogy. Like, I would much rather him just come back for the final season.
Finish the show, like sort of how it
Yeah. Because the thing is, what I don't understand as well is that, you know, he left the show because he wanted a break, and then he signs on immediately to do like 3 movies, and I'm like,
yeah, exactly, makes no sense.
And in that time, like you said, we've now gotten to the point where we're at the final season now, and they haven't done any filming for the movies.
Yeah,
like what was the point? Like you might as well have just left it, stayed on the show, and then you can take a full break and do whatever you want to do. I don't know. It's just really bizarre to me. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, he could have, like, I guess, like during negotiations, kind of said to him, like, do you reckon you know how many seasons we have left? Because if you've got 2 seasons, I'll stay for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But, yeah, that is, like, or because if they don't have that sort of big, like, Rick death in the show, I don't know what they're going to do. It kind of, for me, as like, reading the comics, that takes, like, a massive thing out of this season. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, like I say, it's interesting with the show when they change things up from the comics and when they don't.
Yeah, it's good. It keeps things fresh. Otherwise, you'd literally just watch an episode and you'd know that this episode is page 10 to 20 and you know what happens. So it's interesting that they obviously change it. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to see what happens. But anyway, I think that wraps up this quite well. I don't know if we're going to continue doing these episodes or not each week. We'll see. I'll let you know. But yeah, it was definitely cool to be back doing these streams again and talking about The Walking Dead. It's great to have the show back. But what did you guys think about this episode? Make sure you let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Did you think this was a good season premiere, or did you think it was a 5 out of 10 like IGN? Make sure you let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, I have been Dak.
I've been Shotgun Dan. Otherwise known as Dog.
I have been Dan/Hoss/Man has risen from the dead.
Indeed. And we hope to see you guys again at some time in the future. And I'll see you later.
See you.
Bye.
What was that? Look, I know we're rusty, but we need to do the ending properly. We're still live, by the way. We need to do this properly. Okay, I haven't ended the broadcast. Yeah, but
we already said bye.
It was final. End it. Right. Bye, everyone. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
See
Thanks for it again.